Hello YouTubers, welcome to Dinner and Dessert. This is Kathy and today we have a guest, Steve, and we're going to be making...
we're going to be making creamy chicken and biscuits.
Creamy chicken and biscuits.
Yeah, this is a great recipe for a day like today. I don't know what the weather's like where you guys are, but here it's about 20 degrees. So good cold weather recipe, nice hearty home cooking.
Sounds good. Let's get cooking.
Alright guys, so we have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk, and then a full stick of butter.
Okay, for this we're going to use a food processor with this blade, and we're going to mix all of our ingredients.
Yeah, you want to start with some of the dry stuff, Kath. You can put in the flour.
It's like old times, Steve.
Oh yeah, taking me back here. How about the baking powder, the salt, and the baking soda. And then go ahead and give that a few pulses so you can get it mixed up a little bit first. Okay, that's pretty good.
Okay.
Alright, then we're going to take our butter. Make sure your butter's cold, guys. It just makes the texture of your biscuit a lot better in the final product. So we're just going to cut this down into little pieces. And Kath, you want to add these in there?
Absolutely. And we are going to dump our butter in.
And then go ahead and pulse that some more. You want to get it to a nice crumbly texture.
Oh.
Do like 2 more good ones. 1 more. Alright, that should be good. You can see it's just kind of little crumbles in here. It's all cut up pretty fine. There's no like real big chunks of butter in there. That's what we're going for. So all we're going to do, take this guy, we're going to dump it right into our bowl. Get your blade out, careful not to cut yourself. Then we're going to add our buttermilk. Actually, we can make a little well here in the middle. Make a little well in there, give yourself a spot to pour your buttermilk. A little bit at a time. And we'll just kind of mix it around a little bit.
Oh, that looks good, Steve.
Oh yeah, good start here. There's going to be some nice biscuits here.
Oh, fresh homemade biscuits.
And these are all ingredients that you typically have in your kitchen anyway. You really shouldn't have to go out of your way to get anything except for maybe the buttermilk. So, nice something. It's cheap, easy, and delicious.
You go.
We'll get the rest of that in there. And then we'll just mix this around here. Okay, so our dough's still a little bit dry here. We're just going to add a little bit more buttermilk. And we're going to get back to mixing. So that was probably a total of a full cup then at that point. Alright guys, so our mixture here is a nice wet dough mixture, and we're going to kind of work it on our counter here. So we're going to start with a little bit of flour. This will kind of help it from sticking to your counter. Okay, we're just going to plop that right on down there.
Oh, you're going to put the whole thing right onto the flour. Oh, yeah. All right.
And once we get it down here, we can give a little dusting of flour on the top. Same thing, this will help keep it from sticking to your hands. You're still going to get a little messy here, but this will help you out. Alright, now I like to just kind of pat it down, then you can kind of fold it into itself.
I've never made homemade biscuits.
It's actually something I've just started to do recently. I'm on a bit of a dough kick of all kinds. I've been making pasta, pizza, biscuits.
I've done
it's a lot of fun, and it's something like if you have kids, it's something they really like to do.
That's cute.
And you're teaching them a little bit of math along the way with your measuring and stuff.
Right.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just going to kind of keep folding this into itself a little bit. And if you feel any like wet spots, excuse me, just take a little bit of that flour, dust it right on there. So we'll give it maybe 4 or 5 more folds like this, and we should be good to go.
All right.
Okay, so we have our oven preheated at 425 right now. We got a baking sheet with some parchment paper. Our dough's ready to go. It looks like this. And, you know, if you want your dough a little thicker, obviously just before we start cutting it, have it be a little thicker. This is probably like 1/2 inch thick. That's how I like mine, so that's how we're going to do it. We couldn't find the cookie cutter, which is what we normally use to mold this, so we're just going to use a good old glass here. And all we're going to do, we're just going to give it a little hitting of flour there on the rim. And dive right in here.
Ah.
And that gets you one just like that. We'll put that
nice,
right on down.
Nice shaped biscuit.
And we're going to do that for the rest of the dough here. Get our third one here. And then once you get to the point where like you don't have enough room to make, cut another biscuit, just start folding the dough right back into itself. A little bit more flour, and we'll do the same thing we did before. So we got 9 biscuits here. This was the last of my dough, so that's why that one's a little different shape. I just kind of molded that together with my hands. No sense throwing it out, you know what I mean? We're gonna throw this into the oven here. I like to start it for about 15 minutes and go from there. Now everybody's oven's a little different, so it is worth looking at it periodically. What we're going for is a little GBD, golden brown and delicious. So I'm gonna pop these in the oven and we'll go from there. All right, then I'm gonna wash up and we'll get started on the chicken. Cloves of fresh garlic here. We're just gonna give them a nice chop. Nice little trick here you can do to help get the skin off is just take the side of your knife, give it a good whack. And then the skin will come right off. So we chop it up nice and fine, and then we're gonna do the same for the other 3. All right, guys, we got some carrot, onion, celery. If your onion's enormous, as in bigger than this one, you can go ahead and use half. I'd say this is pretty perfect here. This is nice medium size. We got 1 carrot. Same thing, if your carrot's huge, you can only use half of it. If it's small, you can use 2. And we got a little bit of celery. This was a big piece of celery, so we're only gonna need 1 rib of it. And we're gonna get dicing. When I do my onions, I like to take the top and the bottom off, and then just kind of cut it in half. I think it makes it nice and easy to peel the skin off.
Steve knows all the tricks of the trade.
That comes off nice and easy. You can get these out of the way. If you want to go all out, you can save the scraps of your vegetables here. You can use them as part of your chicken or vegetable stock. If you want to take it nice and easy, you can just get rid of them. No big deal. But you're going to cut nice slices here. Try to keep your onion together when you do it. And it'll help you when you go to dice. And you just kind of come in like this. Right on down. And when you get to about here, you can just kind of roll your onion over. And finish chopping. Okay. So those are our onions. With the celery, I just like to give it a good rinse with water, which we already did. And then we'll get rid of this little bottom part here. Same thing, you can save that. And then depending on how big it is, you just kind of cut your strips down. I like to get them about this thick. You know, it's totally okay to leave the leaves on there. We're going to throw that into our dish here. Gives it a nice look and some good flavor. We'll chop this right on down. I normally like to have pretty much twice as much onion as I do celery and carrot. So we'll chop that down. And then our carrot. All right, so then we'll peel our carrot here. Take your time. You always see people going crazy on this. I'm never in a hurry when I'm peeling, man. I like to get just one stroke. Knock those out of the way. Then I just kind of cut the end off. Cut her down into some little planks. And then strips. Same thing, we'll just kind of roll your knife through and finish our dice. Alright guys, our timer just went off, so we're going to go ahead and take a peek. Biscuits here, they're starting to rise up, or we're looking for that golden brown, so we're going to let them go probably another 5 minutes. Alright guys, we're going to be making our creamy chicken part of the creamy chicken and biscuits here. We've got our carrot, onion, celery that we already diced, a package of chicken thighs. If you prefer breast, you're welcome to use it, but I think the thigh, especially in this dish, it's got a higher fat content, and I just think the flavor is better. We had 4 cloves of garlic that we chopped up nice and fine. Bay leaf, we're going to end up using 2 of them. We have oregano, this is a tablespoon. We got a tablespoon of thyme, a little bit of fresh chopped parsley that we're going to be using for garnish later. We've got some chicken stock, we're going to be using about 1 quart. And heavy whipping cream, this is a pint. And then same thing, we got some sour cream, we're going to finish it with that as well. That's got a nice, it'll give us a sort of like a nice velvety texture at the end. And last but not least, our nice bag of frozen peas. Alright guys, we're going to be using an Instapot to make this dish here. And what I like about it is you can do all the cooking just in one pot here. And beyond that, at the final product, the chicken's going to be something that is shredded, and this will speed it up. Now of course you could do this on the stove or even in your crock pot, but this will make it a lot faster. So that's how we're going to do it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to brown our chicken off. So we're going to use this sear button here. And what that'll basically do is that'll get this a nice hot surface for us to cook on. We just press start and that'll get it going. So we'll give it a little bit of time here, and that'll let it get nice and hot. In the meantime, we can just put a little bit of salt and pepper on our chicken. Just a nice coating. Okay, so our timer just went off again. We're going to take a look at our biscuits. And there you have it, nice and golden brown. We're going to take them out. And what we'll be doing is we'll be pouring our chicken mixture over top of these when we're done. Alright, so our pot's nice and hot now. We're going to get a little bit of olive oil in there to kind of aid the browning process. And we're going to go ahead and start browning our chicken. And then once you get them in there, just kind of try and spread them out so that we're getting a nice surface touching the bottom of the pot there. These on the other side here. And we'll let those go for a few minutes on each side until they get nice and brown. We'll do the same thing with the other 3. Then once that's done, we're going to saute our vegetables off and get the rest of our ingredients in there. And all we're going to have to do is wait. Go ahead and give these a flip. And you see this nice and golden brown color here? We're going to flip them over, let them brown up on the other side, and then do the same thing with our other 3. We're going to go ahead and get these out of here. I'm just going to put them on a plate for now. And then we're going to get our other 3 in here. Alright, so we got all of our chicken out of the Instant Pot. Now on the same setting, while it's still rolling hot, we're going to get all of our carrot, onion, and celery in there. And then we will also add our garlic in another minute or so. Let these saute and get the cooking process kind of started on them. And then we'll throw the rest of our ingredients into the pool here. We'll season up the salt with a little salt and pepper here as well. Kind of mix that around. So let that go a couple minutes. Add our garlic. Let that go maybe another minute or so, and then we'll add our stock and our oregano and all that. We're gonna go ahead and add our garlic now. Give that a little swirl. We'll let this go maybe another minute or so. Again, just kind of get the process started. And then we'll add the rest of our ingredients. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get the rest of our stuff in here. So we're gonna use 2 cans of chicken stock. Get our thyme and oregano in here. 2 bay leaves. Give that a little swirl. We're going to add our chicken back in. And then any of this little bit of juice that's hanging out on your plate, dump that back in there as well. A little bit more salt and pepper. And then we're going to change the setting on the Instant Pot now. So I'm just going to hit stop here. Going to take my lid, get her on. It likes to make this nice little musical announcement that we're ready. And then there's a bunch of different settings on here. I just hit chicken and start. And so it'll come up to temperature, then it'll hit that timer. Once it gets to the proper temperature, it takes about 20 minutes.
Now, Steve, is that the same as a pressure cooker?
Yeah, it is. And that's one of the cool things about the Instant Pot. So you can do different functions with it. So you can make like a soup with it. You can just put it on warm. You can just keep things warm. You already saw the saute function.
Yeah.
And you can actually use it as a steamer as well. There's like a different attachment that you put in.
Yeah.
And I've never done that myself, but it is another thing you can do with it.
I have a Ninja, which is really similar to that, and you can air fry and everything in it. They're nice.
Yeah, I actually got this as a gift, I think, maybe 2 years ago. And, I didn't use it forever. Yeah. And then finally, just one day when I was bored, I saw like a recipe online. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, let's try it out. And I really liked it, so I've been experimenting more with it. And again, my favorite thing is you can just do it all in one pot, and it's faster, it makes cleanup easier, and you really don't sacrifice anything as far as quality is concerned. So I love it.
That's pretty cool.
All right, guys. So while we're waiting on our chicken to finish, we're gonna make a roux in here. We're gonna use it to kind of thicken up the gravy, if you will. I just have half a stick of butter, and we're gonna do equal parts butter and flour in here. So we're gonna get our burner on a nice medium heat. We will let our butter melt. All right, so our butter's melted. We're just gonna add our flour here. Mix it up. And this is pretty good. This is pretty much what you're going for here. Just a nice little paste like this. And we'll take that off the heat and we'll have that ready to go for when the chicken's done. Alright, so this spot was beeping at us, so we should be done here. First thing you gotta do, there's a little nub here. We're basically going to release all the pressure in here, all the steam that's built up. And just be careful when you do this. You don't want to burn yourself. You just give it a little flick, and it'll shoot everything out like that. You can hit the stop button for now too. All right, steam's pretty much done here. We're gonna take the lid off. So this is kind of the base of what we're making here. So I just pulled out all the chicken here, and I was lucky enough to get one of the bay leaves, so that makes life a little easier. And I like to just take like 2 forks, and in a perfect world, you have a nice poultry cutting board. Okay, so we're gonna move our plate over to here, and just get shredding. And it shreds really nice and easy, guys. So that was in there, 20, 25 minutes or so. And this is something that would typically probably take you 2 hours, you know what I mean? So it saves a lot of time. Okay, so I actually like to take it about this far. This is a preference thing. You can shred it completely, or, I like to kind of have it in between here where, you still have some nice chunks of chicken, and at the same time it's still shredded. So all we're going to do, we're going to put this right back into the pot. Try not to splash all over yourself. Okay, so that's in there. We're going to add our heavy cream. And I'm just going to go ahead and add the whole thing. And our mixture looks like this now. You got a nice white color. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn the heat back on. So I'm going to hit it with the sear function again, so it just goes to its maximum heat. And this is going to kind of come back up to a boil. Hey, I found the other bay leaf. Perfect. Okay, so our mixture's here coming to a nice boil. I'm going to go grab our roux. And I like to add this a little bit at a time. I'm pretty sure we're going to need all of it, but I like to add like half at a time, just so that we don't make it too thick here. And you want to make sure that your liquid is hot, so it's at a nice boil whenever you're doing this, because you'll be able to tell how thick the roux is making it like right away whenever you do it. Okay, so if you come in here, you can see it's starting to get thicker already, and we're going to go ahead and add the rest of it right in there. Okay. Looking good. We're going to add our peas. All right, so this is thickened up nicely here, and this is what you want it to look like when we're done. Okay, so I like to finish it off with a little bit of sour cream, so we'll give it a nice squirt. Not that much, that was probably 2 tablespoons. And just kind of mix that in. We'll give it one final taste for seasoning. Try not to burn the roof of my mouth. We'll give it a little touch more salt. And then we're good. Okay, so when I do this, I like to take one of our biscuits here, just kind of pop it open in half, and then ladle some of our chicken mixture right over the top. 1 and 2. Go here. And we'll give you a little hit of parsley for the people. Now for the best part, we get to enjoy. The biscuit's got a nice texture to it. And this is just something that warms you up, makes you feel good on a nice cold day. Delicious.
I would like to thank Steve as my guest today for going through all the work and showing us how to make a great creamy chicken and biscuit recipe.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I had a good time.
It was just like old times. We used to work together. And if you like this recipe, please like and subscribe. And you can hit the bell for notifications on our next recipe. Thanks.
Bye, guys.